Welcome to Success Academy. Please like and subscribe to support us. Today's topic is going long and short. Most people think about trading in just one direction. They imagine buying an asset, going long, before the price begins to rise. Then they imagine selling it just as it reaches its peak to reap a profit. While this is an excellent goal for any trader to aim for, it's by no means the only potential way to capitalize on market movements. Opportunities can also arise in markets that are heading for a downturn, and in this section, we'll see how you can trade these by going short or short selling. What is short selling? When you go long, you open your trade by buying an asset whose value you expect to rise and close it by selling hopefully for a higher price. To go short, you do the opposite. You sell to open a short trade and buy to close it. So, if you believe an asset's price is set to fall, you might decide to sell it now, in the hope of later buying it back at a lower price to make a profit. Of course, you may logically assume that you first need to own concerned in order to sell it. But in fact this isn't the case. It's possible to effectively borrow the asset so you can sell it short. How does short selling work? The easiest way to explain this is through an example. Let's say that shares in ABC plc are trading at $10. Tony decides to borrow 100 ABC plc shares from his stockbroker to short sell, as he believes the price will soon fall. Tony's broker lends him the shares, borrowing them from its own inventory, another client's holdings, or perhaps another brokerage. It sells the shares for Tony and credits his account with the proceeds, $1,000. The ABC plc share price then falls to $8 and Tony decides to close, or cover, his trade. The broker therefore buys 100 shares for him, deducting the purchase cost of $800 from his account and returning the shares to their original owner. This leaves Tony with a gross profit of $200 in his account. His broker will also charge commission for handling the transaction, the lender will require a borrowing fee, and there could be other costs for the trade, which we'll discuss shortly. What are the limitations? In Tony's trade above, he was able to borrow the shares he needed through his broker. But what if his broker didn't hold any ABC plc shares and nobody wanted to lend the stock? If ABC plc was unborrowable at the time, Tony would have been unable to make his short trade. Similarly, a lender might occasionally need to ask for its stock back while a short trade is in progress. This is known as being called away. If it happens to you, even if you're not ready to close your trade yet, you may be obliged to cover. It's also worth being aware that brokers may sometimes be unable for short trading facilities, for example for assets below a certain value. It's up to each brokerage to set its own criteria, so a different firm may be able to help you if this happens. Question. Suppose you borrow shares in XYZ plc to sell short, and the company then declares a dividend. The lender who provided your XYZ plc shares, James, is due to receive this dividend. But so too is the buyer to whom you've sold the borrowed shares, Alex. Strangely, at this point the shares effectively have two owners simultaneously. XYZ plc will pay the dividend to Alex, who is now the official listed owner of the shares. So who must pay James? Please leave your answer in the comment box. Lesson summary. Trading by buying an asset is called going long, while selling is going short. To open a short trade, you sell an asset whose value you expect to decline. To close, you buy it back, also known as covering. If you can now buy the asset at a lower price, you pocket the difference. If an asset's value increases, short sellers will lose money while traders with long positions profit. In order to sell an asset you don't own, you must first be able to borrow it from a lender. You can be called away from a short trade if the lender needs to reclaim the asset you've borrowed. If you borrow shares to sell short, you will need to compensate the lender for any dividends or other costs announced during the borrowing period. Thank you for watching and see you in next videos.